So as I was barely following yesterday, the interwebs were abuzz with Playboy magazine's dribble about the top 10 women that they'd like to beep, beep, hate. Beep, beep. Anyway, yeah. Now, I wasn't offended at all. I found it interesting. I actually went and saw this page before they pulled it, and there was Michelle Malkin and pom-poms making fun of liberals and all kinds. You know, there was a list of my friend Pamela Geller was there, and it's really a shame that they pulled it. Not because it was wrong, because first of all, it was funny. Second of all, there's a certain truth about the certain libidinal nature about how we feel about conservative women, because most attractive women are conservative. I mean, Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar don't exactly come to mind when I think of attractive. It has been a pattern that conservative women are attractive. Now, it wasn't what led me to become a conservative. In fact, quite the opposite. So I found myself needing to defend my own needs. But the reason attractive women become conservative is an interesting phenomenon, and it should be explored. Instead, Playboy magazine censored themselves, which makes me question the so-called liberal tendency of left-wing media. They really are not liberal at all. And it should be explored why attractive women become conservative. Because they do. It's real. It's a real phenomenon. Because they live in fear of being sexually harassed and sexually harassed. Now, I know I'm not allowed to talk about these things on Seismic because, well, this is a liberal network. But attractive women do live in a world of sexual tension that they have to appeal, as Dworkin, the feminist during the 90s, used to talk about appealing to the right wing to get their needs done. That the only people they could trust were, the authority, the law. So it makes sense. Now, I don't think Michelle Malkin and I don't think Ann Coulter, and I don't think that they are that flimsy. In fact, if you listen to them talk, they have many of the same talking points that I make. They are dynamic intellects that understand that conservative points of views are not meant to be oppressive, to go and beat up, the intimidating, nerdy guy who, looks at some girl in a funny way. That's not the intent of conservatism. That might be its application. Much of the time is that it's just used to ostracize and to incarcerate those we don't like. But the truth is, the conservative values, if somebody really actually looks at conservative values, are meant to give you more freedom, are meant to make the law stricter so that you can find ways to hold the authority responsible for their actions because you are a strict interpreter of the Constitution. Earlier this week, or I think it was just 2 days ago, I said I got hit by a car, and here's my ticket, I got hit by a car on my bicycle, and the police officer had the gall to write me out a ticket after I refused to go to the ambulance to the hospital because I didn't want a hospital bill because I didn't have any broken bones. I only bruised my body, and I knew it. It was wrong of this police officer to do that to me. Now, that is a conservative issue. If it hadn't been a bicycle, this guy could have hit a pedestrian. So if he had actually strictly been following the law, he wouldn't have written me out a ticket. Now, he wrote me out a ticket because of libidinal, because I had been working out all summer. I'm a little bit thinner. I look a little bit threatening. I probably looked like some punk kid. I'm 35, but he probably thought I was younger. He didn't like me. He didn't like the fact that I didn't go to the hospital. He didn't like the fact that I didn't trust the system enough to go to the hospital. But if I had gone to the hospital, I'd have a $3,000 doctor bill, and I'd be chasing this other guy who hit me to pay for it. Now, I'm smart enough to know not to get involved in the system. And it's because I am conservative. It's because I don't believe that things work clockwork all the time. But I attempt to try to get them to work clockwork. Now, conservative women feel that the law, the authority, is what protects them from being harassed. It's the foundation of where they go, with where they build their ideas from. Playboy magazine was playing with this, but once they got past the sexual innuendo and the humiliation of putting attractive women into such a frame, they were afraid to go further with their analysis. And that's the sad truth about liberal media. The sad truth is that they are cowards. They are, in the same way that every time I say the word beep beep on seismic, that one of my videos gets pulled off the public timeline. It's the same thing. Playboy magazine can only acknowledge the surface stuff, which is, yes, we would like to do stuff with Ann Coulter and Michelle Malkin and Pamela Geller, that these are beautiful, attractive women. But there's a reason, A, that these women are attractive, and there's a reason, B, why we have such frustration that we feel sexual energy towards them as well. It's not offensive. And if Playboy were real, they, instead of pulling this website down and putting a girl's behind to replace it, they would actually nitpick and analyze and think about stuff. It's this culture, this liberal culture, is a culture that is afraid of beep beep. Can't say it on seismic.